Welcome to the Game Haus Overwatch League recap. We're kicking off week 4 and making sure that you know about last night's games. The first matchup we saw was between the Los Angeles Valiant and the Philadelphia Fusion. The match started with a fierce battle on Numbani, both teams fighting for early dominance over the set. They both managed to take 2 points apiece, but it was the Valiant who proved to have the upper hand, albeit a small one. The Valiant took victory from the Fusion by only a few meters, making the score 1-0. Their battle continued at Anubis, where it remained close, with both teams taking 2 points apiece. The Fusion managed to take 2 more points, but the Valiant were backed by plays from Agility's Genji, which proved to give them an upper hand. They powered through 3 more points and ended the Fusion's undefeated streak on Anubis, winning the map and making the score 2-0. Oasis was a map where the Fusion desperately needed to make a comeback, but unfortunately the Valiant were on a dominant roll. Carpe tried in vain to sustain the Fusion with some kills that were on point, but soon Zarya and Agility's Pharah proved to be too much for the Philadelphia Fusion. The Valiant's team play and their individual stars prevented the Fusion from taking any points this map, and they were able to clinch a series victory for the West Coast, going up 3-0. Even though the Valiant had won the series, there was still hope for the Fusion to earn a couple needed map points on Dorado. Unfortunately for Philadelphia, the Valiant had too much momentum from their previous wins, and the Fusion were subjected to another loss. Shadowburn did provide some relief for the Fusion, with some clutch plays that helped pick off some of the members of the Valiant, and the team fought fiercely until the end, but the Valiant proved its dominance and took the set 4-0. The second match of the night featured the other LA team, the Gladiators, versus the Florida Mayhem. Map 1 took place on Eichenwald, and from the start, both teams proved that they were ready for a fight. The Mayhem were on offense first, managing to take point A, but they were stopped short of point B. When it was the Gladiators' turn, they were met with some strong opposition, only grabbing points A and B in the last seconds of overtime, thanks to some help from Surefour. The Gladiators took the map, making the match 1-0. The match then moved to Horizon Lunar Colony, where both teams indulged in ruthless battling. Both were successful in preventing the other from grabbing even a single point, but the tie only went that far. By the slimmest of percentages, 0.1% to be exact, the Gladiators managed to beat out the Mayhem, taking the second map and continuing a commanding lead 2-0. Map 3 was at Oasis, and the potential turning point for the Mayhem. The Gladiators took point 1 in a relatively quick match, but the Mayhem proved they were not done yet, grabbing point 2 thanks to some great plays by Tvik's Pharah. The third point was the deciding point whether the Mayhem could hold on to this match, and unfortunately for Florida, they could not. The Gladiators took the map in the set, but there was still a fourth map to be played. It looked like Junkertown was going to mimic the fourth game of the previous set, with the domineering team taking all 4 maps and leaving the losing team not even a consolation prize. However, the Mayhem gave the Gladiators a run for their money, providing an effective offense and gaining all 3 points, and equally effective defense, preventing the Gladiators from completing the map. While Florida didn't win the set, they managed to earn themselves a map, making the final score 3-1. Ending Wednesday night, we had a match between the Houston Outlaws and the San Francisco Shock. The two teams began their battle on Numbani, and the set was off to an exciting start. Houston started on offense and pushed their way through all 3 points. Not without a fight, however. The Shock did not let up, but players like Jake helped the Outlaws to push through. The Shock's offensive run proved to be a very similar one to the Outlaws, save for the last point, where the Outlaws proved stronger and successfully held San Francisco off the last point, taking the map 1-0. On Anubis, the Outlaws continued their strong defensive campaign. They powered through points A and B thanks to Pharah and Reaper work from Jake and Clockwork respectively. They were successful in holding off the Shock from point A until overtime. After the Shock grabbed point A, the Outlaws refused to lose another point and held them off of point B, making the series score 2-0. Those who watched the previous 2 games in the night might have been hoping for a deviation from the trend of one team taking the win in 3 matches. The promise of 5 maps is always enticing. Well, the Shock delivered on those hopes because they proved to have a comeback within them. The first point went to the Outlaws, but not without some back and forth from the Shock. San Francisco tied up the map with some great work from Baby Bay and Doc, and managed to pull out a win from the tiebreaker round. The Shock started to turn the game around with a score now 2-1. With the chance of a reverse sweep and their coveted undefeated map streak broken, the Outlaws came to Dorado ready to fight. Clockwork was on point with his Widowmaker, and Cool Map proved to be a huge force of destruction. The Outlaws took 2 points in their offensive run and banded together to end the set once and for all by preventing the Shock from grabbing any points. Houston won the set 3-1 and sent the Shock home with a 1-map consolation prize. Thank you for tuning in to the Gamehouse Overwatch League recap. Be sure to keep an eye out for the rest of this week's recaps right here. You can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. Those links are listed below. Hit that subscribe button, and from our house to yours, keep it here at the Gamehouse for all your sports and esports needs.